However, branches supporting Gumede feel that her appearance before the Integrity Commission should be put on hold up until the NPA has presented her with charges. Gumede is facing corruption charges relating to a 389 million rand Durban Solid Waste tender. She is charged alongside 17 co-accused who include senior members of the Metro Council. Let's get more on this now. We're joined by Mzomuhle Dube, spokesperson for the ANC branches supporting Gumede. A very good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for joining us here on SABC News.
Good afternoon, and actually thanks for the opportunity. Good afternoon to the viewers.
Yeah, you're most welcome. You're saying that the former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede has no case to answer for before the ANC's Integrity Commission. If that is the case, why not have her name then cleared before the ANC's Integrity Committee?
Well, the long and short of it, what we are actually saying is that when she appears, because what was initially indicated is that she was going to consult her legal team, which basically meant that, in fact, according to herself, there's a confusion around as to whether what is it that she's going to present before the Integrity Committee, where she must account in terms of the charges that are presented before herself. At this point in time, we have two issues. We have an allegation, but there is no charge. So when you go to the Integrity Committee and say, yes, I'm in court, but it always has been an allegation, but there has not been any substance or any charge that has been presented thus far. Basically, that will actually render the process futile, because what other question could the Integrity Committee ask when the person who is appearing is presenting it clearly that, yes, I'm in court, but I do not have charges. I don't even know what was my role in this issue. I don't even know what I did. Yeah. So I'm still waiting to hear from the NPA in terms of what I did.
Surely,
so what's going to be the progress thereafter?
Surely these are the things that...
What could be the possible outcome?
Yeah, surely these are the things that she can then highlight at the ANC's Integrity Commission, because I do understand that the ANC in KZN is quite surprised that Zandile Gumede is wanting to involve lawyers. Surely as part of the organization, she's being called just to answer some questions and perhaps then clear her name, and perhaps then the ANC itself will then be able to speak on her behalf to the NPA, who of course are set to give the charges. Surely then it would be at her benefit to sit in front of that ANC Integrity Commission, a party which she has said repeatedly she loves the ANC. Surely she can sit down with her comrades and discuss what the matter is, what the issues are, and at that time be able to then clear her name, so that in fact the ANC itself can then say to the NPA, well, then you don't have a case. Surely the ANC would then be on her side, because she's part of the ANC and she's continuously said that she's a firm member of the party and she loves the party. Why is she not going to the... why are you saying she has no case to answer for? Let her decide that there.
Let me quickly perhaps assist the listeners and the viewers so that it will be clearer.
Yeah.
What we are actually saying is that Zandile matter is before court as we speak.
Correct.
What has not been an advantage to the ANC are the details that are actually unfolding before court. Basically, they actually don't have a full report in terms of what has been happening. When they ask her to appear before the committee, it's a matter of saying, we hear that you have an allegation that is brought before yourself. So you have to come and take account of that. And we are saying, yes, she can go there. But the reality of the matter is that she doesn't have charges. Basically, she will be there to say, yes, there are allegations, but I don't know until date in terms of what is it that I have committed. Yeah. What is it that qualifies me to be in conflict with the law at this stage? So the basic reason why she had to consult the lawyers was to find out in terms of how do you begin to narrate in terms of what's her involvement as the matter is unfolding towards the process of the Integrity Committee. It's not the question of whether she is snapping that. She's never actually rejected anything of that sort. But it was a normal process where she would say, as my legal team, what would be your advice? Because I don't even know what I did. Yeah. But we are saying, as branches, generally in eThekwini, we find it hard to believe that you will actually waste time by bringing somebody who has got no charges before herself, and the person who cannot take full account in terms of what has happened, especially during the court processes, where on several counts the defense team has been requesting the charges to be presented. You will agree with me that it has taken more than a year and 6 months just for a simple exercise to bring the charges forward. And that's the main thing now that has actually been muddying her name all the time. Whatever is being discussed out there is generally not something that has to do with the specifics in terms of what was her role in whatever corruption that is being reported. Yeah. What is now being actually discussed is the possibility of a charge that has not yet materialized.
Yeah. You know, Mr. Dube, usually when someone's name sort of pops up in some sort of an allegation, and you will agree with me when I say every time we hear about the solid waste matter, the corruption that was linked to this tender, Zandile Gumede's name does pop up every time, and I'm sure you are aware of this. According to you, I mean, you're talking about her name being dragged through the mud, the muddying of Zandile Gumede's name. According to you, as a spokesperson for those ANC branches supporting Zandile Gumede, would you say there has been no wrongdoing and everything was then indeed above board when we're talking about this solid waste matter that has her name so much, so prominently on it? I mean, surely the NPA wouldn't just decide that this is someone to go after.
Well, it's interesting that, especially when one actually presents facts in terms of how NPA deals with cases of political nature, it becomes something that is like we are trumping up a story of a witch hunt. But in reality, NPA functions in that fashion.
Why would there be a witch hunt? Why would there be a witch hunt against? Why would there be a witch hunt against Zandile Gumede in your view? Why her?
It's a long story, but
I'd like to know that long story.
Summarize,
yeah, please.
To summarize it, Zandile Gumede is the person who has been a chairperson of the strongest region in the province and in the country per se. So whoever wants to emerge as a leader in the ANC must be seen to actually be consolidating a support in the region where Zandile Gumede has been a chairperson and where she commands a bigger chunk of support. And in that sense, you will know that when you go back to the first question that the eThekwini is not a normal metro where a executive mayor, meaning that she's got executive powers. Zandile Gumede never had executive powers. She is a person who was chairing an EXCO committee, which is an executive committee comprised of different political parties, which prohibits her to actually take unilateral decisions. Every decision that is taken by the EXCO in eThekwini was basically from the EXCO, which basically is a multi-party kind of an arrangement. So it's definitely impossible to find that Zandile may have influenced any tender at any given time.
You know, we always hear that Zandile Gumede is really quite powerful in the province of KZN, and the fact that you are speaking for ANC branches that are supporting Zandile Gumede does indeed point to the fact that there is some kind of power that she yields. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on air with me today being part of quite a big group that is in fact in support of Zandile Gumede. So going back to my initial question then, according to you, there was absolutely no wrongdoing on the part of Zandile Gumede when we are talking about the issue of the solid waste tender in KZN that's really been everywhere in the news and really attached to her. Even if I do a quick Google search now, On the matter, her name will pop up, unfortunately, and as you've been saying, it's been the muddying of her name. So I will ask again, according to you, is her name clear and was everything done above board? And what would happen if you were presented with information or evidence? And of course, you've been saying the NPA must charge. And should the NPA then do so, will you then change your stance as being part of those branches that support Zandile Gumede? Where would you then stand?
I have no reason to doubt the position and the functionality, and in fact, the credibility of Mama Gumede. I've no reason to doubt her.
Yeah.
But also borrowing from how the municipality functions, it actually exonerates her from actually being part of any process that might have awarded any tender. So it's not about me or the branches deciding when a matter is presented before court. If it will ever be presented, because it's been more than a year and 6 months later, and we're still struggling to even look at the charges themselves. Had it been that easy, as you say, we would have received those charges long time ago. In fact, we'll be singing a different tune in terms of understanding now the complexity of such. At this stage, we are where we are actually left wondering in terms of why would someone charge a person without a substance or an evidence or anything of that sort. Why would that person now be gagged before any committee to say, come and explain your situation? Because herself she doesn't know what the situation is like. You've been charged and you've never been given charges. You don't even know what's your participation. Even the structural arrangement of the municipality where you've been presiding does not allow you to come anywhere near the DSW tender, nor are you allowed to get anywhere near the procurement processes. So we will find it very impossible to find Mama Gumede being part of the procurement process that might have awarded or influenced the awarding of a DSW tender. Yes, the Google, you can be everywhere in the Google because Google is fed by people. People write stories and it goes to Google. So it's impossible now that I will say she mustn't appear anywhere. Yeah. But in terms of the logic and the functionality of the municipality, I can actually put my head on the block. It's impossible that she actually even participated in what is being alleged.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. We are indeed then expecting Zandile Gumede to appear before the ANC's Integrity Commission, but we'll see if you indeed get your way. As you're saying, she has nothing to answer to there. We'll see what happens next week. Thank you for giving me your time. Mzomuhle Dube, who's a spokesperson for ANC branches supporting Zandile Gumede, speaking to us there. All right, we're going to take a short break and more news when we return.